Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Up Your Alley. It's a podcast with two best friends. That's me. My name is Taylor Edgar, and with me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. Say hi, Jake.
Hey, buddy.
It's a show where we recommend things to each other, then we come back the next week to talk about it and rate it on a scale of 1 to 3, depending on how much the other person's recommendation was up our individual alleys. Right now, first show of 2024, and it is still a tight race. Probably cut it off season 1 at some point. We haven't really set an end date. Write in if you think we should do that. It's 55 points for me, 54 points for Jake. Thank you all for tuning in. If you like the show, please subscribe to us on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you're listening to this. Tell your friends about the show, and that's it. That's the call to action.
Perfect.
2024 starting out right. How you been, buddy?
There you go. It's been good. It's been a fine time.
How was Christmas and New Year?
It was a really good Christmas. It was a really good New Year's. Yeah.
Nice.
Got to see people I haven't seen in a while.
Awesome. Anything fun for New Year?
I just went to my friend's house.
That's good.
And we watched a ball drop.
Aw.
I know.
What'd you watch it on this year?
I have no clue. I was pretty inebriated.
Did you watch it with Paul Anka?
I could tell you all I could see was in the corner the number counting down.
Yeah.
Couldn't even see the whole TV screen.
So this past year was the first time. Oh, also, spoiler right now, not spoiler, but disclaimer. The lights are flickering a little bit.
Spoiler.
Jake has said he has no problem with it.
Yeah.
I have a problem with it.
You're going to hear him wince every once in a while.
If I just trail off in the middle of a sentence, just know that the light just flickered. I am doing my best. I'm a goddamn professional.
No, because you already pointed it out.
Well, I just want to throw that out at the top. And I've already lost my train.
There it is.
Okay, so I'm back. Hold on. Give me a second. So this past year, we canceled actual TV. Like, we had DirecTV. Yeah. It's gone now. Everything's streaming.
Cool.
So I was looking on YouTube, the live feeds for New Year's Eve. Found one. I forget. I think it was through ABC or NBC. Whatever. It was on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And they had Paul Anka, the old singer, come out, and he sang a version of Imagine by John Lennon, which was nice right before the ball drops. But I'm watching it with the kid, and she's just like, who is that man?
Right.
And I was just like, he's Paul Anka. He's really old. Yeah. Killing it. I don't know if it was lip syncing or not, but I was just like, you wonder why ABC, NBC, whoever it was, is failing. And they're...
who are they supposed to grab? Skibbity Toilet?
Somebody who's not Paul Anka.
The kids don't have celebrities like we have celebrities.
All right, anyone who's stoked to see Paul Anka doesn't know how to get onto YouTube.
They found their way onto ABC, that's for damn sure.
I guess that might be the live feed too, but also, cable is a dying medium. Everyone's moving away to streaming.
It's going to go back to cable. I'm sure of it.
Well, no, essentially just capitalism's going to eat its own tail, and all these companies are going to bundle together, so you're going to be paying for one streaming package, which is eventually going to be just as much, if not more, than cable.
Yes.
The money's going to be fine, but I'm saying, like, watching ABC is going out the window.
I see what you mean.
They're owned by Disney, it doesn't matter. But I just don't understand. It's like, how do we get the kids to watch? I know, Paul Anka. Let's drag him out in the freezing December cold.
Also, at midnight, my kids better be asleep. I'm trying to watch Paul Anka on television.
At that point, if you're trying to watch Paul Anka, one, you're not making it to midnight. You might not make it to January. But it just seemed like a weird choice for me. It was just one of those things where I was just like, that's a very strange situation.
What's one of Paul Anka's songs?
Dunno.
See, I don't know either.
I think it was one of those old crooners,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rat Pack.
Yeah, but not Rat Pack. He's Rat Pack similar, but he was never... I don't think he was in Ocean's 11. I don't think he was in Robin Hood and the 7 whatever he had.
Robin Hood?
There was a Robin Hood movie that Frank Sinatra did.
Was there?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
It was real bad.
Was he in, like, tights and everything?
No. It was like set... It was basically mobster stuff, but it was like the Robin Hood story, but it was,
But he didn't have to put on
it was fedoras
costume.
and suits and Dick Tracy looking people. But
it was just the way he dressed.
Exactly.
Showing up. Okay.
Robin Hood was more the mentality of it.
I see.
But yeah, other than that, cooked some good food.
Hell yeah.
Had some good time. Had a little bit of snow on New Year's Day.
Oh, that's nice.
A little flurries.
Actually.
Yeah. Didn't stick to the ground or anything, but I had fun with it. I had fun watching some movies. I got some good books and stuff. Looking forward to reading it. Looking forward to wrecking those to you.
Nice.
I already spoiled what's going to be up in a couple weeks once I read it, but that'll be a surprise to the listeners.
There you go.
Yeah. Anything else going on?
For me?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
No?
Just living the dream.
I did want to talk to you about the computer situation.
Word.
So I've been looking at new computer systems because I told you storage is getting to be an issue just from doing this, running everything just off my laptop. And the more I see that, I don't know what's going on with the algorithm. If it's going into my feed because I'll search, PCs, and then it takes into account everything else that I search. A whole bunch of modded gameplay is popping up in my Instagram and YouTube algorithm.
Okay.
Where it's just this was done on a PC. Don't you want to buy a PC? Look,
okay.
Arthur Morgan has sunglasses and a poncho. Don't you? And I'm Googling, where do you get sunglasses in Red Dead Redemption? It's it's a PC mod. And I'm God damn it. Yeah. Are they going this deep with it? It's gotten to the point where even my brother-in-law sent me something that was Red Dead Redemption with mods. And I was just aw.
Yeah. I feel like you're missing out.
So I'm thinking I might have to be a PC guy. Or at least some kind of standalone computer guy.
I can help you build it.
Are you happy with yours?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
It's wonderful.
What controller are you using for?
Crazy.
What?
I'm just using an Xbox 360 controller right now, really.
Works. Yeah.
It still works. Beautiful. But keyboard and mouse, it's where it's at. You'll pick it up quick. I promise you. But I'll help you build a PC, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, don't bother.
You were about to say what's crazy. Did the light distract you?
I think so.
Yeah.
No,
See?
it wasn't. It was you.
See?
You distracted me.
I haven't distracted anybody once in my life.
I couldn't tell you what's crazy anymore. No. But I'm excited that if you want to make a PC, I'd be more than happy to help you out.
That might be in the cards at some point this year.
PCPartPicker.com.
PCPartPicker.com?
Yes, check it out.
Really?
Yep, check it out.
What do you just pick and choose what you want? Is it
It'll give you a whole list of stuff that you need.
And then
you need a tower, you need a motherboard, you need a CPU, and you just go through and pick out, I'll take that one, I'll take that one, I'll take that one.
That's not bad. I will say this, one Christmas present that I really like is sitting right over there. It's my new bass guitar.
That's very true.
I'm enjoying the hell. I've forgotten how much fun it was to play instruments.
You know what I did?
What'd you do?
I went on a date on Saturday.
Ooh.
We went to a Funland out in Fredericksburg.
Is that
arcades and stuff?
Oh, I thought you just were we went to
a Funland. No, it's called Funland.
Okay.
Or Funland. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably Funland.
But it had Guitar Hero arcade set up.
God, it's fun.
That
is a fun land.
My hand cramped immediately.
Oh, really?
Playing it. But I was like, it's back, baby. I got to play this game so much more. And with a PC, we can do it.
Well, have you done the Fortnite Guitar Hero?
No.
It's fun. But, you're just pushing buttons. But eventually, I'm sure they'll get... friggin'
peripherals.
Yeah, that's a word I couldn't think of. So it's this Funland's just like a arcade?
Yeah.
Bar arcade?
It's like a Chuck E. Cheese. It's like a Dave & Buster's type
nice
place, but just called Funland.
I do did they have...
For kids and adults.
What was your go-to arcade that okay, so the arcade that I went to most was out your way now, the Manassas Mall, when we were in middle school, high school.
Aladdin's Castle?
Oh, yeah. So what was your go-to, I'm really good at this game arcade? Not for tickets and stuff, but a video game thing.
For playing video game?
Yeah.
The Jurassic Park light gun ride game?
When you're sitting in the Jeep?
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, that one's great. You get to be in the Jeep. You look really cool because you can live pretty long on just a couple quarters.
That's a good one. I was always a Time Crisis 2 guy.
Time Crisis 2 is a fantastic play.
There was...
Light gun games are just fantastic.
Yeah. I will say this about Time Crisis 2, though. The worst is if you went to a Time Crisis 2, you're waiting in line, you put your quarters on the machine, you're getting ready to play Time Crisis 2, and then you pick up the gun, and the action's broken on it.
Yeah.
So it's just a regular light gun.
Yeah.
And there are regular light gun games that are fine, like the Jurassic Park game. There's Area 51, classic. House of the Dead's, all of the Houses of Dead.
No,
is it like
House
Attorneys
of the Dead
General?
4 has you hold machine pistols.
Oh, really?
And
I don't think I ever got there.
Oh, buddy.
But yeah, when the action was broken on Time Crisis 2, I was like, this game is garbage now.
I feel you.
Yeah. I liked the Gauntlet games, put in your initials.
Gauntlet Legends was fantastic.
Were you a skee ball guy?
I'll play skee ball.
How'd you win tickets?
Not huge. I don't play for tickets.
You don't play for tickets? How can you get a G.I. Joe parachute man?
I tell them, you give it to me now.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Give that to me.
I'll buy you tickets for $5, kid.
I got pretty good at the light spinning around.
Yeah.
And then you stop it.
On the table.
Yeah.
It has that one light. You have to try to get it between the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to an arcade set up in out in the mountains. Took the kid there, and half the arcades were just broken.
Yeah.
But it was...
That's what the situation was here, too.
Do you pay by the quarter there, or is it like you pay a fee and...
You paid $20 for unlimited plays.
Yeah,
for
so that's the way this place was
ticketless
too.
games. Yeah.
Mhm. There was a great place I went down to visiting family in North Carolina. They had a bar, arcade, but every time you bought a beer, they gave you $2 in tokens.
Oh,
So
sweet.
just to keep you there for longer. And I was like, this is genius. And they had big projection screens with an N64
would
hooked
be
up.
so nice.
Hard to do in the Commonwealth.
Hard to do in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, you got to have the right beer laws and everything like
Yeah.
that. That's not fun.
Not fun.
Yeah. But what is fun is the things that we're talking about this week.
Halfway.
No, both things are very fun.
Half of these things are pretty darn fantastic.
So we're starting out the year right, I think, with two things. One that is incredibly interesting, one that is going to be incredibly contentious. We have Jake's recommendation for me, which is the YouTube documentary from the channel Defunctland, which is a man named Kevin Perjurer who makes all these documentaries. He's got a bunch of short-form ones, and he's got a couple long-form ones. The one we're talking about this week was released in November of 2022, and it was Disney Channel's theme, A History Mystery, all about the theme song to the Disney Channel, or really just like a little sting, little melodic sting.
Yep. Do-do-do-do.
Yeah, that no one knew who had written it.
Yeah, somebody wrote it.
Yep, and he did an hour-and-a-half-long documentary tracking down who wrote the
Investigative journalism.
at its finest, I will say. Spoilers for all that. And then also, we're talking about the 2023 Netflix original film, Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire.
Child of Fire.
Written and directed by Mr. Zack Snyder. So we will be getting into that also as soon as we take a quick break to hear from this week's sponsor. Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in the world and is going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. That's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible, and that's important because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially if you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with your therapist, and there's a link in our description. It's betterhelp.com/Allie. That's betterhelp.com/Allie. Clicking that link helps you support this channel and also get you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist to see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't fit in with your first therapist, and that's common, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without the stress of insurance or who's in your network or anything like that. I'm a big proponent of therapy, and anybody that knows me can attest to the difference that it's made in my life the past couple years, and I recommend this program to anybody. So if you're struggling, please consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Allie. That's betterhelp.com/Allie for 10% off your first month. And we want to thank BetterHelp for supporting our podcast. And we're back. All right. So first, we're going to talk about Jake's recommendation for me, which, as we mentioned, is the documentary on the YouTube channel Defunctland, which I'm not even going to say is a YouTube video or anything like that. Something that plays into this video very well.
Yeah.
Disney Channel's theme, A History Mystery, on the channel Defunctland from documentarian and filmmaker Kevin Perjurer. Jake, how'd you find this? Why'd you recommend it? And
Defunctland started showing up on my algorithm like years ago, just to talk about, rad amusement parks. And I really enjoyed those. And so whenever they would pop up, I'd watch something like that. And then he just kind of fell off my radar for a little bit until I saw a friend post on Twitter one time being like, this thing like changed my idea about art. And I was like, that's a big, bold claim from somebody who's in the art business.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a brash statement.
So I was like, gotta check that out. And I did. And I would say she's not wrong. I loved it.
So give us some background, the whole spiel.
So what Defunctland is about?
Yeah.
Or this documentary.
Documentary.
So, a lot of channels have stings to them, NBC, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody's written those, you know.
Nick,
Nickelodeon. Everybody has a composer of those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even when Windows XP turned on, ding dong, ding dong, that was Brian Eno that wrote that.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, like when you hear these little earworm chimes, there's a writer behind it.
Yeah.
It's not documented who did the Disney chime.
Right.
You
Which
know?
is what I think this goes down a similar path to some of this other documentaries that we've looked at, which is the documentarian started making a documentary about one thing.
Yeah.
And it takes on a whole new
He
life.
thought he found a fun little thing to do.
Right.
You know, and it's like, you know, I'll find this out because nobody just ever thought to ask about chimes.
Right. It's just
you know?
it seemed like it was a thought that came into Perjurer's head.
But then
and he
you-
was just like, who wrote that? I don't know. And then he tried to go deeper into it, and he's like, nobody
He was able to
knows.
talk to some Disney stars, Disney Channel stars about it. And that one lady was so funny.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name.
Oh, yeah, I'm blanking on it, too.
But she was like, he's like, don't you think it's weird that nobody knows who made the chimes? She's like, no. He's just like, what do you mean? He's like, nobody knows who made the Nickelodeon chime. And he's like, yes, we do. She's like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it did go back to the NBC thing and how they need it. Like, I love, first of all, get this out of the way. Is a staggering 3 to start the year. I told you I watched this documentary twice.
You're very welcome for giving you a very watchable, very engaging
Jake,
film to watch.
can I just say this? Feelings mutual. You're very welcome as well. Can't wait to talk about Rebel Moon. So, it goes back into the history and it brings up the NBC thing, and it brings up the fact that these stings were pretty much set up because back when TV in the old timey days, they had to know when to switch manually.
Yeah.
The TV signal. It's like, now we're done. There's the old cliche, like they'll play the national anthem at concludes our broadcast day, and then you get the boom, all that stuff. That's a little before our time. We never came around.
I mean, we were right on the cusp of that bad boy being.
We'd fall asleep watching
nothing.
cable, and you wake up at 3:30 in the morning to a Girls Gone Wild infomercial.
Yes.
And you're just like, this is fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, Girls Gone Wild was not fantastic. Apparently, it was a horrible
was a horrid thing.
run by a monster.
Yeah.
But when you're 12,
yeah.
it's like
This is the closest thing that you can get to booby.
exactly. And so, fucking light. I don't know if it was the light or Girls Gone Wild, but I got distracted. So they had the chime to let you know it's like, okay, now we're switching over. And so the NBC was it's
go from the
standard.
national broadcast to a local broadcast or something like that. Yeah.
So you had the NBC, and I never thought about the Disney Channel one.
Yeah.
Because
me neither. I didn't grow up watching Disney Channel.
I watched Disney Channel a little bit, but when this starts, this is really I don't know how old Kevin Perjurer is. He seems like he's around our age, a little bit younger.
Maybe, yeah.
Because when Disney Channel started doing the Disney Channel sting, and it's a very famous thing, the wand motion. They have the star, they have Hilary Duff draw the mouse ears with a laser sword, and it plays the dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
and it's Disney Channel theme. At the beginning of this documentary, he starts out saying, talking to people, it's one of the most memorable themes, and I'm just like, I can't sing you the Disney Channel theme. I
was in the same boat.
I don't know it. And then when he actually gets, and it's probably 10 minutes in when he actually plays it, I was like,
when they hit it,
fuck.
And it's like, oh yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it is there, and then right from then when he played it, because I wasn't into it, and because I was like, I don't know the Disney Channel theme.
Right.
I didn't really watch Disney Channel.
I was on the same board. I was on the same boat.
I didn't.
When you were doing that.
I think I was kind of in on Even Stevens, some early LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And then not much after it. Never really watched Lizzie McGuire, all that stuff. I was gone.
My sister watched that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that stuff.
My sister, I remember we would watch some of the Disney Channel original movies. Little Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah.
A little Xenon.
Halloween Town.
Xenon Girl of the 21st Century.
31st Century.
Oh, sorry. My mistake. I didn't know I was speaking to a...
Xenon's pretty damn great, buddy.
What was the catchphrase in that?
I can't remember.
It's like Zetus Lapidus or
yes!
something like that. If I just pulled that, I'm going to be very impressed.
Wow. Damn.
But that really wasn't my speed. I remember when I went to, and it's brought up in this documentary, the massive success of High School Musical and High School Musical 2. And I think he says in High School Musical 2, when that came out, is like the biggest broadcast in cable history.
Yeah.
I went to college with a guy who was big into Disney Channel.
Mm-hmm.
Unabashedly loved it, and I loved the guy for it. And I'll say this, fucking catchy. And I like Zac Efron. So, like, he's not wrong. It was good stuff. But there are people that are super passionate about this. And like we've said so many times on this podcast, if you're interested in something,
that's what Defunctland is a lot like, because there's a lot of Disney people that love to go to Disney World like all the time.
There's a fine line. You know, it takes a ton.
I hear you,
sometimes.
But there's people just like this. You know, there's people that know it, people that love it, people that really love it, and then people that should be seeing a professional about what this obsession is.
You need to take 10 to 24% off that.
Yeah.
I saw in my fucking Instagram algorithm, it was some Reddit, like, you know, when people like do the little duet where it's just like someone in the corner reacting to something. I forget the guy's name, but he just makes the funniest facial expressions reacting to people saying dumb stuff. Yeah. And it's like this Disney couple talking about how great Disney is, and he's just kind of in the bottom, just being like, oh, these people are fucking insane. And I was like, I love this guy for doing it. But regardless, to the documentary, he's got listed on his Wikipedia 4 feature-length documentaries. This one, he has Live from the Space Stage, Disney Fast Pass, A Complicated History. I'm halfway through that one.
Wow.
Which is really fascinating just because I was never... Growing up in Florida, I didn't go to Disneyland that much. We were a Universal Studios family. Especially when they opened up Islands of Adventure and you had the Marvel Superhero Island before Disney bought Marvel.
Yeah.
Fucking great. You're walking around there, everything's done. You look up in the window and it says Law Offices of Nelson and Murdoch. You're like, I get that reference. And they had Jurassic Park, which was the shit.
Hell yeah.
And also,
I watched Jurassic Park yesterday.
First Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
You know, I still haven't seen the 6th one.
I haven't either.
It's on streaming somewhere.
I don't want to.
It's kind of one of those things where I'm just kind of done with it.
Yeah, there's no reason.
But anyway, this guy is fantastic, and the documentary is great.
The documentary takes that great turn because it's something made by somebody who's clearly a savant at making these types of things.
Yes.
You know, it's extremely catchy and extremely short.
Yes.
You know, and that's an amazing feat to do. And to not have it, owned by somebody is a, fairly interesting mystery. Also, because it is something that was created that, deserves recognition.
Right.
Just for its impact.
Some of the most memorable things, like talking to a generation, like we said. Like,
yeah. So it goes on that wonderful journey where he starts wondering about what he's creating.
Yes.
We're talking about Perjurer now. And that's when the documentary became fascinating to me. How much it became a reflection of himself when he was looking into this, being like, who am I becoming? Becoming something that's a part of a machine. Yeah. It makes me feel like I'm not creating anything worth it if I'm creating something for profit or, or just for the weekend.
It's a bit of an artist dilemma.
Yes.
Yeah.
The wonderful artistic dilemma.
Yeah. And I like documentaries where the documentarian is part of it, but I like both of them. I don't like ones that don't really pick a lane. Yeah. Like a documentary that we talked about a couple episodes back, the Eli Roth documentary, Finn.
Yeah.
Like Eli Roth is a big, big part of that. This Perjurer is not on screen. Like, you don't see his face. He's not like...
Yeah, he keeps his face hidden.
He's not mugging for the camera, but he's talking to people. You hear his voice.
Yes.
So he puts himself into this. And much like Eli Roth, he does use what he's finding out. And granted, he's not finding out about $1 billion shark trade, and he's not on a boat off the coast of Africa shaking people down trying to find out who wrote the Disney Channel theme song. Yeah. But he's just through interviews with people and chasing down every lead. Yeah. He has a great Pepe Sylvia whiteboard, or stringboard, where he's like trying to figure out who wrote the thing, going through studios.
What's the line that I like where he sees the soap.net credit when he's looking through all the files that he has? He's like, soap.net, that's the place for soaps. Because they kept telling him that while he was talking about.
He's a very funny guy, very charming guy, and he puts himself...
And he just becomes very vulnerable, showing what's what his process is,
So-
and like what YouTube's been doing to him, and what he's been doing to himself because of YouTube.
Right. And he does
I
have
don't mean to make that sound like self-harm, but
No.
it's more about the creative output.
Yes.
And just a wonderful reflection on that.
And I think he does a great job of not making it about him. So we
Yes.
can. I mean, there's nothing to spoil.
There's nothing to spoil.
There's nothing to spoil from this. So he ends up tracking down some people that worked for this company, Tonal Sounds and Elias Arts, which were he finally found after I don't know how long he looked at it, but just going through a timeline of finding Disney Channel bumpers, they're called, before and after the show. And he does a great bit of something I even remember noticing when I was a kid, that Disney Channel doesn't have commercials the way Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network had commercials, because their commercials in between acts of the show were just commercials for more things on Disney Channel or for Disney parks and everything like that, because Disney didn't need money from Nabisco.
Yeah.
They've got all the fucking money. And that bumper was still in there to make it feel like
Television.
like TV. It's like how HBO didn't have commercials,
Right.
but they would just show you what's on HBO after you watch the movie or the Game of Thrones or whatever.
Right.
And so they create, and it's something that he kind of reflects on, that Disney World and Disney the company, which is famous in their parks and everything for creating something completely artificial that still is inviting, that Disney did that with a TV channel.
Yeah.
Like, we're making it feel like there's commercials, even though there aren't any commercials. You're here for the whole thing. So they
to make
get
you
you
feel
with
like it's comfortable.
right.
Like not jarring or anything.
You got Hillary Duff up there, be like, up next on Disney Channel.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, fuck, it's a TV show. And he goes down the rabbit hole, eventually gets to the guy, Alex Lazarenko, is someone who he finds out, and through all of his research, which is the most fascinating.
Yes. That's the stuff. That's the stuff that was super engaging.
Yeah.
It's well documented, his journey.
Yes.
To
And
getting this
you could tell that he's not putting it on. It's not just like, one of the people that you could tell is just putting on an act like, oh, this is driving me, crazy, my quest for trying to. It's not done in any kind of joking way. It's not trying to be campy or funny.
Well, the problem comes from when he realizes the creative output.
Yes.
Is this something that meant something to him that meant nothing to the person that created it?
Right. He could have been, just fucking
And that
done
becomes
in an afternoon, or not even an afternoon, in a minute. Just it's four
It's
notes.
something
It's four
that is
notes.
nothing to this man, but it means so much to him and so much to a bunch of people. And that really brought him down, know? And he really talks about that. And that's when my shit started to change about what I think about art.
Okay.
To me, I always thought that if you create anything and if you put anything out there, that is art because you are creating something. But you're missing that really important ingredient, which is that passion to want to create art. You can create stuff that is blank and banal.
Right.
But when you're somebody who's so clearly talented at creating something that can find the opportunity to make something for an objective, you do create art there. So we don't have it documented that this man was like pining over making this little jingle.
Right.
But from everything that you hear about all of his friends that he talks to, because the gentleman sadly passed away.
Right. He passed away in 2020 or 2021, I think.
He wasn't able to get an interview with him.
Right.
But
or find many interviews about it.
Yes.
There's like one picture of this guy online.
Yes.
He's
in a newspaper.
He's a very behind the scenes guy.
Yes. But he said that he had I'm getting all choked up.
There you go.
He had he talked to all his friends, and all his friends were like, there's nothing that he didn't do without complete passion for it. And like, that was his damn quote. I wish I can remember it.
Yeah.
But he was just like, there's nothing that I don't do without the passion behind it. And like, that was like the end of his journey. It wasn't that he found out who the man was, but he found out that man puts in as much dedication and passion into what he's creating as Perjurer does.
Right.
And was just mind-blowing to me. That is just the most beautiful thing that I could think of.
It reminded me a lot of another person that you've recommended to me, H-Bomber Guy. He had a documentary that we didn't cover for the show, but I talked about it. He has a documentary about the Roblox oof.
Yeah.
and it's the exact opposite of that. So that documentary, which I recommend as well, it's on H Bomber Guy's
Oof. Yeah.
YouTube channel. It says Roblox Oof is what it's called, which is a noise that's in a Roblox. And
did you ever watch G4 growing up?
G4?
Yeah.
No, what's that?
The gamer television. That's where Tommy Tallarico had the show Judgment Day and Electric Playground that he was on.
Yeah.
That's how I knew Tommy Tallarico.
So, yeah, that's kind of what I was getting into. So that is all about who created this sound effect, this noise that's just oof that they use in Roblox, which is one of the biggest games on the planet. And the guy that created that, allegedly created that, he hasn't really proven that he is the exact opposite of this Lazarenko guy. He seems like a shill. He fake produced an episode of Cribs, kind of, to like tell everyone he was on Cribs, and lies about his Guinness World Record.
Yes.
And H Bomber Guy in his perfect,
where Tommy Tallarico is extremely talented. I've listened to a lot of his games, and his music is very good.
Right.
But there isn't the passion behind a lot of his projects. Yeah, that makes me feel like what Perjurer discovered.
Right. There's an archetype, and I think it pops up a lot, especially in not so much creative, but it just seems now it's coming more to light. And how do I know? Monet might have been a dickhead. It's like, look at these lilies. Look how fucking cool they are.
I'm so sure they were.
There's a Tommy Tallarico. It gave me another amazing documentary that if you haven't seen, everyone should watch, The King of Kong, with Billy Mitchell, who was a great Donkey Kong player. Turns out he's a liar and a dickhead and all that stuff. But then there's another guy, Steve Wiebe, who's just in his garage, underspoken, trying to beat the Donkey Kong record.
He's got albums that he's selling now, too.
Right. So this guy is Alex Lazarenko. He's the Steve Wiebe to Tallarico's Billy Mitchell.
What a fun comparison.
It's just
I love it.
That's how my brain's working.
I hear you. But another big thing that I like about this documentary is not only did he discover who it was, but he also found an album of his,
and that's the perfect fucking twist. Like I wanted to go back and watch it just because in the last
that ripped my heart out.
So Kevin Perjurer, if for some reason he fucking hears this, god damn it, man! Like documentaries aren't supposed to make you go back and so when I watched fucking Glass Onion or any of those types of movies, I want to go back. First time you watch fucking Fight Club, you're like, I have to watch it again. Now that the twist is there, you want to go back. When you see The Sixth Sense,
the Nate Bargatze joke, you're doing that.
Yeah. Sort of, yeah.
Where it's like they even show you at the beginning that they shoot Bruce Willis, but then you still believe that he just, for 2.5 years, he just didn't talk to his wife. His wife just didn't talk to him.
It's a great bit. But anyway, so I've never seen a documentary before that makes me want to go back and watch it to catch up on what I missed, because what he tells you is...
you're just like, what nice documentary and stuff. And
it's just that music that's in the background, and he says...
This music's in the background.
And then the whole time, he says, no one will... And people will hear Alex Lazarenko's music because you've been listening to it this whole time. It's a fucking... The Prestige moment where he rips off and he's like, fucking doves, bitches! Like, he fucking nailed it. It's such a well-made documentary.
Yeah.
And if this guy...
The only downside is that this is on YouTube.
And I don't think that's a downside.
I think it is, because I wish more people would see this.
And honestly, I hope in my heart of hearts, for people like this guy, for people like H Bomber Guy, for people like CoffeeZilla that are just making great content and putting it out for free. The way they do the bullshit now, where it's like Killers of the Flower Moon was in theaters for 2 weeks, so now it can be nominated for an Oscar. There's an Oscar category for short film or short segment documentary or whatever the fuck they call it, short form documentary, and there's a Academy Award for long form documentary. They got to find a fucking way to put these YouTube guys up there, because it's like, all right, here's a documentary in black and white.
What I would say is that it doesn't get which I don't even care about, but it doesn't get the Academy recognition.
I care about that shit.
I don't care about that stuff.
I get upset
at all.
I will get upset on someone else's behalf.
But like, that was just one of the most incredible moments that I've had watching a documentary. And it's just like, masterful. You back away going like, he nailed an ending so hard.
And it's such a great documentary.
Cannot recommend it enough.
dude.
Yeah.
And I'm on board.
Even just saying this again, I've watched it again,
Yeah.
and it's still so impactful.
Yeah.
To see his journey.
Yeah.
Because you're like, he's so emotional.
Such a good fucking dude.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's 100% a 3 from me.
Nice.
Can't fucking recommend. Again, the YouTube channel is Defunctland, DEFUNCT land.
Yeah.
Bunch of shit on there. Everyone should subscribe to him. Fucking tell him he's doing a great job.
Let's talk about that documentary.
Watch the documentary.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way, because I don't want to see another, Academy Award for Best Picture. And it's like, what is it about? And it's about, it's black and white and they're sad French people.
You gonna watch Maestro?
And they're sad. Haven't yet.
I'm not going to.
I mean, did you ever see Bradley Cooper's first one, The Star is Born?
No.
Not great.
I just don't feel it.
Yeah, it's whatever. But you know what I mean? Like,
When something, the first thing that I saw about Maestro was that it got a 7-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival.
that's too long to stand.
That's all I thought. I was like, that's just too much.
How much of that is like, when you watch a movie and then you first thing you do is you stand up and you just go like, okay. Like, I probably stood and stretched for 5 minutes after I watched Oppenheimer because I was just in my seat for 3 fucking hours.
Yeah, I'm wondering who was the first guy to stop clapping, and then everybody just started following that guy. Because they're like, he's right. This is dumb.
What if they have like a little timer going up in the window where they start it and then like everyone sees the LED screen? Who's the first person to start the standing ovation where it's like everyone's clapping? It's like, I need to clap from up here.
Yeah.
I can't even stand down and clap
I
at
get
this.
standing and clapping.
Yeah.
I don't get how I'm looking around at everybody going, stand up, clap with me.
I fucking hate that.
And they're like, what are you doing? Sitting down. Keep standing.
For 7 fucking minutes, really?
Yeah.
It's too long.
I was like, I don't think so.
It's too long.
I feel like you. I feel like that's just the weirdest cinema thing.
That's so fucking smelling your own farts
Yeah.
nonsense. Like, that's ridiculous.
I'm going to one of these film festivals, and I am standing up for 24 hours straight,
Just clapping.
watching some movie. I don't know what it
You
is.
should have someone make a documentary about you standing up for a 24-hour standing ovation,
Yeah.
and then that'll be.
And then that's how I celebrate the ending of it.
It's either going to be an award-winning documentary about you clapping, or that's just the next Mr. Beast video. He's like, I gave a 24-hour standing ovation. Whoever claps the longest gets $30,000. It's fucking genius. But yeah, this should be available or eligible for all the awards.
I agree.
Because it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss to Defunctland.
One
of the best documentaries I've seen.
Yes.
We talked about documentaries from HBO and things like that.
Yeah.
Fucking this knocks.
It's on par,
in the
knocks
dirt.
out
Yeah.
a lot of documentaries.
So shout out to Funkland. Everyone should subscribe and watch. Even if you don't have a soft spot for Disney Channel, like Jake and I talked about,
Yeah.
I don't.
I didn't grow up with it like
No.
this guy did.
I had it on,
But-
I was adjacent to it, but
Yeah.
it wasn't my thing. I was watching fucking
But I
South
do-
Park and pirating Futurama episodes when all this Disney Channel stuff was coming out. So yeah, shout out to it. Fantastic. Everyone check it out.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get into my recommendation for Jake, which is the 2023. It's weird saying that now. It's 2024
Yeah.
now.
It's 2024 now.
So the big hit
could have left it behind, but
of
I guess
last
we'll drag
year.
it into this.
Rebel Moon - Part 1 : A Child of Fire
Hoy.
from Zack Snyder, visionary Zack Snyder, I will say.
What type of visionary?
One with a vision.
No, just
A very saturated slow motion vision
very
that he puts in everything.
has to be slow motion still, doesn't it?
God, it's a lot of slow motion.
Especially when it's so slow that I could see that she should have been shot like 24 times.
Okay, we'll get into it. Did you ever see the Snyder Cut?
Because you're just standing.
Have you watched the Snyder Cut yet?
Why would I want? I haven't even seen the original.
Oh, that's
cut.
right. It's not April yet.
What does that mean?
Tease for all Affleck.
Oh God, no!
That's not true. Oh,
2024. No,
it's gonna be
the
so
year
sad.
just started.
So no. All right. So I'm gonna come at this
Go ahead.
wholeheartedly. I started watching this on Christmas Eve with my brother-in-law. We were
Now,
watching it.
Let's start from the beginning. You recommended this to me before you even
Sight
seen it.
unseen.
Yes.
Sight unseen.
There you go. All
Because
right.
I gotta say, I wanted to talk about it. I knew I wanted
And
to
you
watch
watched it on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And I went over to my parents on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And I said, do you guys want to watch Rebel Moon? And they said, what is that? I said, Zack Snyder's new movie on Netflix. And they said, God, no.
Okay.
So I didn't get to watch it with my family.
I'm going to say this. I'm not a Zack Snyder guy the way some people are. Zack Snyder seems like a nice enough man. There hasn't been really bad things about him. I really enjoy some of his movies. I will say he has made a top 3 DC movie of all time. It was Watchmen, but I still put it up there.
It's not even technically a DC.
It's DC adjacent.
So
I'm giving him credit. Just
you're trying to give DC credit now, which is also weird.
Okay, well, hold on. So, Zack Snyder...
This is a weird conversation.
No, because I'm still trying to find my angle halfway because I'm trying to turn you around on this. Because first of all, Jake, what's your score for
It's a 1.
It's a 1.
It's a real low 1.
It's a low 1?
It's a bad movie. They could have cut out an hour of that movie.
All right. So first of all, I texted Jake at one point, and I was like, I'm 45 seconds in this movie. I can already tell you're going to hate it. Because it opens with narration.
Narration isn't bad per se.
Jake hates. So the premise of Rebel Moon is it's generic space. There's some space stuff going on.
So far, visionary.
There's what they would call in Star Wars a backwater moon. Also, full disclosure, apparently this started out as a Star Wars movie. And then Disney was like, we're not letting you make a Star Wars movie. And he's like, well, I'll just make my own movie. So there's some big Star Wars vibes in this.
I didn't really get Star Wars vibes from it other than I don't think he's creative enough to get out of a sci-fi fantasy world
space opera.
Isn't like Star Wars.
It's a pretty generic space opera. So, but it is original. It's original. First of all, it's got that going for it. It's new. It's a new thing. It's not based on a book. It's not based on a comic. It's something fucking new. What was the last new sci-fi that you saw?
I just watched Dream Scenario.
Oh, with
Nicolas Cage.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I hear good things about it. But so it's on a small moon.
We watched The Expanse.
Yeah,
my boy.
That was fucking years ago.
Yeah,
years ago. So there's Cora and Gunner, and they're on there, and the Imperium is coming down to their moon. The Imperium,
wheat.
They're space Nazis.
They're looking for wheat.
And I don't say space Nazis like using Nazi as a generic catch-all. They're dressed like Nazis. Yeah. They're in full-on just SS uniforms. They've got the flat-brimmed hat. My brother-in-law even said, well, that's a little heavy-handed. I'm like, it is, but I'm for it. They're called the Imperium. It's got big Warhammer vibes, too. Where
that's what I was about to say.
It's vaguely Latin.
I wish it went for a more Warhammer vibe.
With some big space
instead
Marines.
Of a Star Wars vibe.
Yeah, well, it's an original thing. Stop trying to make it something else. It's Zack Snyder's vision.
Zack Snyder tried to make it a Star Wars thing.
Moving on.
Literally.
So, also, like I've said, this is only part 1. So we have part 2 coming up in April.
Part 2, can we talk real quick?
Okay.
Part 2 is called Scargiver.
Yeah.
I hate that name.
Well, Cora's the Scar Giver.
Yeah, she gives people scars.
Uh-huh. She's the Scar Giver.
She's the Scar Giver.
I don't know how I can make this more fucking clear cut for you,
I don't know
Jake.
how
She's
to tell you. Oh, what? You talk to her, she gives you a scar.
Yeah, she'll fuck you up. So there's the Imperium, and you find out that the king...
Call me the fuck you upper.
The king and queen had recently been killed, so there's factions of the Imperium.
You
find this out
man,
in Anthony Hopkins
good
talking.
Hour? No, like a minute and 30 seconds of somebody telling you about these king and queen dying.
Not just somebody, of Anthony Hopkins telling you that the king...
a robot.
Yeah. And so the Imperium's there. They're like, give us your fucking wheat.
Who's not allowed to kill people.
Right. Give us
wheat.
Like, give us your wheat. We're going to be back in 10 months. And they're like, it's a classic thing of, we can't afford to feed ourselves, or we can't feed ourselves if we give them this wheat, but if they'll kill us. So Cora, turns out, she is a former Imperium agent, high up in the Imperium. Big killer for her. And...
yes,
she is down on this planet now, just helping. She's living on the run. You find out later she's the most wanted person in the universe, or whatever.
Yes,
and she recruits a team of people, goes around planet to planet. She has Charlie Hunnam helping her out. They go planet to planet. They're like, we got to find the most badass fucking fighters, and we're gonna bring them back to the moon. And it's gonna be the Rebel Moon. And we're going to kill all these guys when they come back in 10 months. So it's a race against the clock to go get a ragtag team of fucking ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah.
And they're going to make good. You got Dijman Hansu, who's like an old drunk general. They find him fighting in like a gladiatorial ring.
No, they didn't find him doing that at all.
Well, they found him drunk. Allegedly, he was doing that.
They found him. They gave him a space hosing.
Yes.
And then they put them on the ship.
Space hose.
There was just a hose. It was a hose.
Was a hose.
It was a hose with draperies around it to be like, that's a space hose.
You have Duna Bay, who's a big sword fighter. Like, she's awesome. And you have...
No.
Stop just saying no. Can you just go with it for a fucking minute?
I'm really trying.
So
That was so involuntary.
and also her name's Nemesis. There's also Tarek, who's
That's
like...
exactly because you brought up her name, and I was like, who is that? I was like, that is Nemesis.
Yeah.
That's when I went, no.
There's also, before that,
she's cool.
There's Tarek, the Beast Tamer, who wins his freedom by essentially just taming a hippogriff.
Guess who's my least favorite?
Tarek?
Almost.
Oh.
We're getting up to him, though. He's my second least favorite.
Is it Darian Bloodaxe?
It's Darian Bloodaxe.
Darian, first of all, awesome name.
Bloodaxe is such a cool name.
And his sister Devra. So it's Devra and Darian Bloodaxe.
Bloodaxe. Last name. Please. Mr. Bloodaxe was my father. Call me Blood.
Just Darian's fine. So, and they've got to fight bad guy from Deadpool 1, the giant space Nazi.
Yeah.
And when the space Nazis come down, it's kind of vague. They're like these weird monk ladies that are kind of like the Praetorian Guard that the Emperor had in Star Wars. They're kind of like the sisters Bene Gesserit from Dune, like halfway in between that. They're never explained.
No.
They're just weird spiritual leaders of the Imperium
They'll
that
be-
follow the space. Well, they'll cover it in Scargiver.
Fucking alluded to in Scargiver.
No, we'll find out more in Scargiver. You're
You
gonna
know
make
what we're
all
gonna
these
get?
all these puzzle boxes that they'll open later.
You know what we're going to get?
Something awesome.
We're going to get that dang bird.
Oh, the hippogriff?
The bird's going to show
Tarek's
up.
bird?
That's going to show up. They're going to be like, how'd that get in the cargo bay?
Yeah.
And then that Native American,
Tarek?
who's not Native American because it didn't take place on Earth,
No.
but he can speak with the Earth,
Yes.
which he's not a part
Listen,
of.
there are
Tropes abound.
tropes
is what I'm trying to
abound.
say.
Where are these tropes from?
Even when Bloodaxe was like, who's coming with me? And then his favorite, Milius, comes up. He's like, somebody has to come out there to protect you.
Yeah.
And he even gives a slight chuckle like, Milius.
Is that great?
No, it's
Okay.
not.
So, you don't like it. So they fight the space
don't
Nazis.
like it.
They don't win They don't win against space Nazis. They delay the space Nazis because they're going to turn out it's going to be in Scargiver.
That's also the best part of the movie. is they didn't win. They got so lucky.
It's only part
They
one.
got so lucky.
It's only part one.
But that fight was so funny. Bloodaxe went to stab the guy, missed him. Dude just straight up shoots him.
He meant to stab a guy through a cockpit.
Yeah.
Which is of a spaceship, which you think you wouldn't be able to stab
You shouldn't
through.
be able to just stab through it. Shouldn't
was
be glass,
just-
but that's okay.
They talk about how great this ship is. It's the king's gaze. It's the
Yes.
jewel of the Imperium.
Yes, that's a
What are you
whole
going to do?
part.
I'm going to stab the fuck out of that shit.
He was able to get the guy. He was able to actually stab him, and the guy just fell over on the controls,
Yeah.
which caused the thing to explode.
So-
and then the general was like, "This is actually great for us.
You know what?
You guys, we actually did something today."
And first of all, the bad
laughing too hard.
The bad Nazi captain's name is Atticus Noble.
Yeah.
Which is chef's kiss on that as well.
Holy man.
Who else are we missing? The bad leader of the Imperium now, of the Motherworld, Belisarius. Turns out that's Korra's adoptive father.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. That's a nice little thing there.
Pretty
and
cool.
also, the dead king, who we see in flashback, is Carrie Elways.
Yes,
So,
that was very funny.
is this a long set sequel to The Princess Bride? Maybe. We don't know.
Really weird that it's Carrie Elwes.
And Corey Stoll, it's like a weird Viking village, and Corey Stoll's their leader. And I've never seen Corey Stoll gets killed by the space Nazis, but I've never seen Corey Stoll with a beard before. He's always just like shaved head dude. Like he played MODOK in the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Fucking looks great with a beard. I'm like, dude, rock that shit all the time. That's a dope beard. Also, they had both guys that played Daenerys's boyfriend in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they replaced the actor halfway through. Yeah, that doesn't
Oh.
matter. But they're both in this. Regardless, great movie, dynamite
It's
cast.
just wild that you would say great movie.
Did you notice who played?
Would you give it a 3?
Oh yeah.
That's insane to me.
Oh yeah.
That's the most insane thing I've ever
I'm
heard.
so on board with Rebel Moon. I
There
can't
is-
wait for Rebel Moon: Part 2.
There are so many things wrong
Scargiver.
with this movie.
Right, but we haven't seen all the movie.
That's not how it goes. That's not how it goes.
Did you notice who played Deborah Bloodaxe?
I'm not sitting down for a 3-course dinner and then the first dish is just raw cow tongue that you spit on right in front of my face.
Well, you just don't have a distinguished palate.
And then I'm like, I hate this. Yeah. And they're like, oh, just wait for dessert.
So also, Anthony Hopkins is the voice of a robot, which they call a Jimmy, I believe. Yeah. He's a Jimmy. They used to be like bloodthirsty war droids.
Action bots.
Now but they've been decommissioned. Bots. And now he's got little Anthony Hopkins thing. And then Cora saves a girl from being assaulted.
Yes.
Kind of throw it off her disguise where she's not just a little peasant. Like, she kicks ass.
She actually knows how to shoot a gun.
We get some great Zack Snyder
slow-mo
fights.
When it's
like
been
classic Zack Snyder.
By the man himself.
Right.
And it's just, at this point, all he can do is see that the choreography is bad.
Okay, well.
It's too slow. Pick it up a little bit so that I don't sit there and focus on it.
Yeah.
Because all I'm doing is sitting there and focusing on it. It's like that guy's just standing there pointing a gun at you. That's when it gets to the bar scene and we have a bar fight.
Yes.
There's 4 guys to her back and 2 guys to her front that are not shooting.
Yes.
And it's just too slow.
Fuck, it looks cool, though.
No, it doesn't.
All right.
Because my head's going crazy. So when Bloodaxe is running up that crane to go and stab that ship, it looks like he doesn't have enough space to make an actual cool broad run. He's taking these tiny little steps. So it's tiny little steps in slow motion.
Step, yeah.
Oh.
So how much Zack Snyder have you seen? I'm sure you've seen his first film, Dawn of the Dead.
I've seen that.
Great.
It's good.
Good zombie movie. I remember first time
I guys seen a whole bunch of zombie movies.
That's fair. Did you see his Army of the Dead?
No.
Netflix original where they rob a casino?
I was going through our texts just recently, and you're like, have you seen Army of the Dead? And I just sent you back, no. And then you said, pretty good movie.
It is good.
It's something that I think you should check out.
Yeah.
And then I dropped the subject because I was hoping you would forget about it, and you did.
That was before we even started this podcast.
I was so hoping that you would never think of that.
Maybe that's one of the reasons I started this podcast, because now I could make you watch things.
I don't want to watch Army.
No, you don't have to. Watchmen, I know you've seen.
Yes.
300, you've seen.
Yes.
Sucker Punch, you brought up, and you haven't seen any of his DC stuff. You haven't seen. No, you saw Man of Steel.
I tried to watch Man of Steel. I had to stop.
And you didn't see Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. All right. So here's what this is, and the reason I thought I can kind of turn you on it is because I think you're thinking about this movie all wrong. Star Wars is a space western.
It's not Star Wars, first of all.
No.
It's mostly Seven Samurai.
Yes. How great is that? It's a samurai movie.
Because you did worse than Seven Samurai.
It's a samurai movie.
Here's what they did.
You go and collect the Ronin. And it's essentially Ghost of Tsushima.
And Seven Samurai, they pick up the other guys pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
And every one of them show their strength in about a minute.
Because there wasn't already shot and planned and edited and come out Seven Samurai Part 2, The Oathbreaker, or whatever that would have fucking been called, where this is just the setup. It's assembling the team. Danny Ocean hasn't even gone in the casino yet.
You have to have something to do.
Right.
And there was nothing in this movie.
It's Atticus Noble getting kind of resurrected at the end.
Those damn...
Through weird space magic that no one explains.
Their chair hair... Yes, that's called the Force. They're weird.
Legally, it's not the Force.
Their chair handcuff things are just weird.
They're battle droids. They're just the droidicas from
They look like droidicas.
Yeah.
They arrest you so that you can have a spike driven into the base of your skull.
It's a matrix spike that comes out of a battle droid. It's literally like bits and pieces of other sci-fi movies. Yeah.
And I'm
so fucking fun.
Here's my lore part is... Like, you see them twist and turn it into place. That can be the locking mechanism. That way, the spike just doesn't go off automatically when you hand it to the other prisoner to be like, take this deadly weapon and then use it to kill the love of your life. And then he's like, I'm not going to do that. And then he shoots him in the head with the spike. And then she gets out. How did Cora get out? I don't know. How did Cora get out?
It's not important.
Yes, it is. It's so important.
She gets released.
Why? The whole point of her getting captured is that we get to find out why she escapes. How? You know?
Well, maybe they'll talk about it in The Scargiver.
No, they're not.
I think you're overthinking this. I think it's a fun space samurai movie.
I'm thinking that if this movie was 22 minutes, we would have a fine time.
Well, then we wouldn't get
I think
a good part
the
2.
action was something that's nothing to write home about. There was nothing interesting in any action set piece.
Okay, disagree.
What was...
Hard disagree.
You're here to talk about the space Native American.
No, I'm not. I'm here to talk about
What,
Nemesis.
you just flew around for 5 minutes?
Nemesis fighting the Spider Lady.
Oh.
How fucking cool is that? Which they kind of took from Lord of the Rings, and the
Boring.
Spider Lady's essentially Shelob, which is another trope they took.
It was
Giant
just-
Spider Lady out of nowhere.
It was so uninteresting, but it was my favorite, which is like, wow, you really beat the shit out of that Spider Girl. And
Shot
she's like,
the shit out of her.
hurting people is wrong. My name's Nemesis. It was like,
Nemesis
I
might
knew
not
that
mean the
stuff
same
was gonna go on.
thing in that universe.
No, it's a name that was given to her.
Yeah.
I get that. But it was a fight that meant nothing
Yeah.
and went on too long.
But it was fucking cool looking. You said there wasn't one good set piece in it.
Well, a set piece needs something that gets me involved in it.
What about that weird...
It would have been so funny if she died in it, you know? And they're like, oh, we got to go find somebody else.
Okay, you're saying it's too long. I felt like there are some parts of this that could have been expanded upon.
That is
honestly, I think
wild.
the Rebel Moon series could have been 3 movies.
This
I don't
is
think
my-
you need to rush it and just give us Scargiver.
You were being contrarian
No, I'm not.
to me now.
Okay, so when they're on that squid planet finding the blood axe, it sounds silly when I say it, but when they're on that neutral squid Switzerland planet finding the blood axes, and they're like, all right, well, all the rebels are here, and they're like, oh, we've been keeping them, and it's like, oh, I hope this,
Yeah.
you're safe. Everyone knows about you, the nice squid people, and then just cuts to space Nazis beating the fuck out of the squid people.
Yeah.
And like, we didn't get to see the squid resistance. It could have been a great thing like episode 3 with the Wookiees defending Kashyyyk or anything. They had a little bit
I
of
don't
Zora
like-
from
I think
they
you're-
were the Zora from Legend of Zelda
I
a
think
little
you've
bit.
been poisoned, my friend.
I think it's just
you've been poisoned.
I think over the course of this podcast, in 55 episodes or whatever,
Yeah.
you've become a surly Sue,
I am
and you
not.
just don't have fun with things anymore.
I have so much fun.
This was fun.
This was not fun.
It was not fun
I'll give
for
you a tip. I'll give you a hint
Okay.
on another thing that I just don't like about Zack Snyder's directing.
Uh-huh.
It was the scene where Noble is in the ship
Yeah.
and he's doing drugs.
Yeah, space drugs.
How do you do the space drugs? You take a thing and you put it into a syringe and it goes into the port on your chest that you
Does everyone
like
have
into.
ports, or is it just him?
I don't know. This is fun lore. This is the lore that I enjoy.
Yeah.
All right. The thing that I don't like was he does this, he does the drugs, he's having a conversation, and he turns around, and then a tentacled monster starts putting its tentacles all over his body.
Yeah, and does he
don't
fuck it?
know if it's his wife.
Is he fucking it?
They don't. This is where the part of the lore starts getting upsetting to me because
bit.
I'm not getting anything out of this. But what I'm getting out of this scene is Zack Snyder is saying drugs are bad and debaucherous sex is bad, and I am
I didn't-
against both of those things.
I didn't get that. The vibe I took from that scene.
That dude
And-
did drugs, he did sex, and he was telling people, I am going to commit to genocide.
Right, but I think what was being taken away from that is more like the reports of dictators and people that are higher up in government when they try to have a controlling thing. It's like, you guys stand on that planet and you can't do anything. I'm in charge of everything you do. Meanwhile, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I do. It's a really good way of ingraining into people's heads what a bad person Noble is. He's not the cog in the machine. He's the gear that's turning everything.
Right.
Like, he's a bad fucking dude.
So what
'Cause
I
how do you make a person in a bad organization that much worse? You give them I will give you generically evil traits of doing drugs and fucking a squid monster. Like, not
I don't
ideal.
think those should be generically evil traits,
but
first
it is.
of all.
But it is if you're coming from
if
a
you want the
society
shorthand
that's
for a movie that's already too long.
well, I don't
you didn't
think it's
need
long
that.
enough. I'm saying it's if you want the shorthand for this guy is worse because he has a place where he's telling people what to do while doing whatever the hell he wants.
He's
exploiting
this
the
idea
system.
is that he has the decadence to do
Yes.
these wild things.
I think it's a good.
Wow, there's so many beneath him that are
It's a good,
hurting.
It's a cliche. It's a nice show don't tell shorthand. Just
Yeah.
shows what a good storyteller Zack Snyder is.
They could have just added a line where he's like, Gleethnak, my wife, not now. So that I wouldn't have to worry about what this alien thing
Sorry,
is.
honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, I'm talking to my minions.
Yeah. I don't know. What did you think about the end where Anthony Hopkins' robot just put on a deer antler crown?
This is what the movie
he's
literally
he's
the last 20 minutes.
He's iRoboting
Yes.
out in the world, and he has a deer head crown.
Because Jimmy is coming
reason.
back.
Yeah.
Wow, you said there's no reason, and there is a reason.
Go for it.
Yeah.
You've fallen into my trap.
No.
Yes.
Well, Jimmy is actually going to be, he's protecting the second coming of the princess.
Yes.
So he's realizing that, and he's coming through to him being a peaceful being by being a violent being.
Vaguely magical princess, not unlike
Force.
Ciri in The Witcher. Just a blonde princess with generic magical powers. He pick and chose from a lot. I was watching it. I was like, that's Star Wars. That's Seven Samurai. That's The Witcher. That's Lord of the Rings. That's a bit of Dune. Like, he's really just walking down the aisle and knocking everything into his cart.
It doesn't feel creative. It feels like Zack Snyder has the passion. He just doesn't have the restraint or control in what he's creating.
See, I think I get what you're saying, and it makes sense for someone that hates everything like you do. But someone that's open-minded and
I'm so open-minded.
able to enjoy things. Well, you seem really hung up about that squid sex stuff, so I don't know how open-minded you are.
Is that his wife?
So it's only fine within the confines of marriage?
If they're married, I'm fine.
I love how that's your sticking point.
Can't hate it. Not until you're married.
Which finger do you put it on? Which tentacle? The ring.
They do a thing where they
I don't know.
do drugs together.
We'll find out in this Scar Giver.
So, I don't like this movie so much that if there is novellas that come out about Rebel Moon,
there's going to be comics for sure.
in between, I want as much lore as I can get
Deep
going
cuts.
into Scar Giver
Yeah.
so that I could tell you that this movie is going to be bad.
Well, there's...
It's probably going to be better than the first one.
Yeah.
Because things are probably going to actually happen.
Probably true.
But I
can't
still don't think
stake
it's
my
going to be
reputation on that, but probably true.
Things are probably going to actually have to happen.
I think that this was a big swing, and I think similar to the way that he made similar to the way he made Army of the Dead, the second zombie movie. It's just like, hey, you're so engrossed in this lore, and Army of the Dead was great because he had just coming off of doing nothing but comic book stuff between all the Batman. He did 300. He did Watchmen. The fact that he was able to throw together Watchmen is a feat in and of itself. Watchmen was a movie Watchmen was a movie that was largely thought to be unfilmable for years and years.
And it's fine.
He changed the ending completely, but it was good.
It's nowhere near as good as its written material. But
No.
it's a fine movie.
Right. So
I can enjoy things.
300 the movie, on par with 300 the graphic novel.
I will say that's yes, because both of them have nothing going for it. But at least 300 had an awesome style to it.
Yes.
And there are scenes that were in slow motion that are still stuck in my brain.
Yeah. And I think he was the first person to actually put in Batman
That
and Superman
moment?
fighting on film. Like, he took a big swing at that. So he took a swing at Watchmen. He took a swing at bringing Batman and Superman together. So the fact that he wrestled all that big lore, all these huge Herculean tasks that Zack Snyder was able to accomplish. He put the fucking Justice League in a 4-hour
Put
movie.
the Transformers.
He brought back Jared Leto as the
Shia
Joker,
LaBeouf.
gave him long hair, and said, fucking deal with it. I don't care what anybody thinks. This is 4-hour long, and I'm going to show the
people
Flash in slow motion a
like
lot, which is
these
not the
things,
purpose of
that
the
movie
Flash.
was horrid.
No, not the Flash. The Flash. The Snyder
Rebel
Cut
Moon
Justice
was
League.
better than The Flash.
He didn't write the Flash. He didn't direct the Flash.
Oh, it had nothing to do with The Flash?
No, he was well done. He was making Rebel Moon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the fact that he was able to take all those big franchises and then you give him his own thing, and you could see his encyclopedic knowledge of how his brain works and all the stuff he's been exposed to, and let's give him his own sci-fi thing. I think it's a big swing. I really like it.
I think it's really, really bad. I think it's really, really bad.
I think people should write in.
I'm not
and give
writing
us
off
their take.
Zack Snyder as a director. I'm just saying I don't want to watch any of his films and none of them intrigued me.
That's the definition of writing him off.
I just
as
don't want to see them.
That's fair.
If one of them comes out and like everybody is like, this movie's great.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about the people that go to the website Rotten Tomatoes to make sure that they rated a thumbs up.
Yeah.
For the audience score to be up. I mean, like legit
people you know.
Yes, people that I know.
Yeah.
Tell me that they watched it and they do indeed enjoy it. I've gotten 2 friends to watch this since I've seen it.
Yeah.
And they agree with me. It's not good.
Well, they haven't heard my take yet.
It's not offensive. It's just not good.
So I'm looking at his upcoming projects. Obviously, next, Rebel Moon Part 2, Scargiver.
Give me my scars.
Post-production, a TV series, Army of Dead, Lost Vegas.
Ugh.
Zombie TV series.
No.
Also in development, the director of The Fountainhead.
No. Ayn Rand?
Do you know another Fountainhead?
God. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. How cool is The Fountainhead going to be in slow motion?
Fuck me.
Overly saturated slow motion. Well,
That's crazy.
what I will say,
That's crazy.
I'll finish up on this. One, you lucked out because Scargiver comes out in April, which, as we all know, unless, fingers crossed, Ben Affleck is in Scargiver, then we can put it into all Affleck April. And also, there's such an rabid audience of Zack Snyder fanboys.
Yes.
If there's a chance for lore, there's going to be a market for it.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot more hype built up to this.
If they write a book, if they write a comic book,
yeah,
I will read it.
Little interstitial, Dawn of the Blood Axis.
I will give every opportunity that I can for this second movie. I promise you that. I want to like it.
Nice.
There's
no Jake Baggett enthusiasm
This
that I
is
like so
me,
much.
buddy. You gotta accept that sometimes things are actually really bad.
No, I don't. You can't make me. All right. So, yeah, I think people write in. If you've seen it, it's on Netflix. It's available. Write in if you've seen. I think this is one of the first times in a long time that we've been on opposite sides of something this
Write
hard.
in. This is what I want you to do. I want you to write in. I want you to tell me how long. Don't even look it up. I want you to tell me how long that damn bird flight was. I want you to tell me how long it was without looking it up.
It was like a Griffin thing.
Yes.
It might have been too long. But like I said...
How long? I want you to write it in.
I
want to see what people think. Because if they tell me, yeah, it was about a minute and a half, and I thought it was really good, you're a liar. And you're trying to sell me.
Also, in that bird fight, there was the part where the bird rammed him up against the wall of the cave, and I was like, that's Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's just little pick and choosing.
To me, it's like, what do you think of makes a bird fly if it's not both of his wings?
Yeah.
That was what. And then also, he had a stick and a rock, and that's he just like chucked it over his mouth and stuff. And like, and then he just like handed the stick and the rock to the guy that wanted him to tame the griffin.
And then he got gored.
And then the guy was... My first question would be like, how'd you do that with the thing when you threw it on him? What do you mean you're just handing it to me? This is a rock and a stick.
And all these questions will be answered in the Scargiver.
Maybe that's a great little metaphor.
Could be.
Yeah.
Probably not, though.
Probably not, though, because it's Zack Snyder, and he was just like, it just look cool.
Shut up. I like Zack Snyder. All right. You should write in, and everyone should write us an email to upyouralleypod@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of that. And like this email we got from our friend Adam. Adam's written in before. Says, hey, Jake and Taylor. Oh, also, this email was sent to us a couple weeks ago, and I was going to pull it up, and that was the week that we lost power.
Oh, damn.
So I could not pull the email back up because I forgot to load it, and the internet was down because the power was out.
I've been wearing my sweatshirt around.
I like the sweatshirt.
People are asking me about it.
Good look.
I have a Fish Take Industry sweatshirt.
Shout out my brother-in-law. He got those made for us.
Yeah.
Hey, Jake and Taylor. Stellar Rex this week. I forget. Oh, that was when we talked about Punk the Capital and a friend of the show, Bobby Fingers.
Hell yeah.
I'm stoked to check out Punk the Capital. Also, Bobby Fingers is just delightful.
Hell yeah.
A TikTok titled The Great Gatsby in under 3 minutes popped up in my algorithm, and I thought it was a lot of fun. After scrolling the creators page, oh, you can follow us on TikTok if you want at Up Your Alley Pod. Did I tell you about the video that's getting weirdly picked up?
It was the bear.
The bear.
Yeah.
Like 15.6K now.
Well, he's back to because Iron Claw came out, and he's talking about season 3.
Fucking love the bear.
I know. I'm excited.
After scrolling the creators page, he has a series called "The Complete History of the Development of Punk on New York's Lower East Side." Thought you would appreciate it. Send us a link to that TikTok. Yeah, I'll send it to you. But yeah, thanks, Adam, for writing in. Best wishes, Adam.
Happy New Year, Adam.
Happy New Year, Adam. And yeah, like I said, if you want to write in, come to your email address. I said that.
That does sound really fun. I want to watch that.
Yeah, man, I'll send you a link. It's good.
Cool.
Fun little like quick history TikToks.
Yeah. It sounds like he has a lot of fun with it. I love that stuff.
Again, we love some documentaries. We love some history shit. We send your emails to upyouralleypod@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on Instagram @upyouralleypod. Follow us on Spotify. Click the follow button on Spotify or YouTube or whatever you're doing that, because that really helps out. And I went on this weird tangent where I was trying to find out about algorithms, but I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you comment or do whatever, if you're listening to it, just give it 5 stars. It tells the robots in the AI that people like this thing more so than just doing it. So it's free for you and good for us. So yeah, click like and fucking write a comment. It doesn't matter. Just say good. Just say rebel.
Write in
Moon
the comments.
Fun. Yeah.
How long you think that Griffin ride was without looking it up?
Yeah.
Give me times.
All right.
So and I will reveal next episode.
I can't wait.
How long that Griffin ride was.
I would say we could make a funny TikTok about this, but I don't think it'll fit in one TikTok.
It's already fun.
In retrospect, I think it might be a YouTube video. Not even sure. All right, but let's get into what we're going to be getting into next week. Jake, what do you got for me?
All right, buddy. So I was thinking about whether I should make you watch something that I love.
Yeah.
That is awesome. But I know you would not like.
Yes.
But I thought different.
Oh.
We just spoke about it just a little bit. I want you to watch the movie Dream Scenario.
Okay. The new
movie with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Where's that?
You can buy it and rent it.
Okay.
Right now.
I've heard great things about it. It was actually on my list of stuff that I wanted to watch, but I got to
I watched it recently. I really look forward to talking to you about it.
Yeah. So it's a comedy horror thing. It came out last year, starring Nicolas Cage, who I believe the premise of it, which I don't want to find out anything more.
He shows up in everybody's dreams.
Yeah, he's in like everyone's dreams on the planet. And he's just some random...
Yeah, he's just a professor at college.
Yeah. So yeah, I will check that out. Dream Scenario. Jake, I have something on for you that's available on Hulu. It's a movie that came out on streaming, probably a limited theatrical release. I'm not sure, but I watched it, and I really want to get your take on it because I think it's something that slipped through the cracks of your social media net, or not media, just media net.
Yeah.
Available to watch now on Hulu. 2023 film, written, directed, and starring Charlie Day, Fool's Paradise.
Okay.
His directorial debut.
I've heard not good things.
Right. I had heard not good things, too. And much like Rebel Moon.
Are we going to have another one of these?
No.
Where I just hurt your feelings?
No. I knew you weren't going to like Rebel Moon. I watched Fool's Paradise, and I was like, to quote the show, this is so far up Jake's alley.
Okay.
Like, you're really going to like it. It stars Charlie Day, Kate Beckinsale, Ray Liotta. It's a fucking cast list. Ray Liotta, John Malkovich, Adrian Brody, Jason Sudeikis, Jillian Bell, Edie Falco. Fucking Jason Bateman's in it for a minute. Common shows up. Common's there. He's in great things.
C to the O-double-M-O-N?
Right. So yeah, you watch Fool's Paradise. I'm going to watch Dream Scenario. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Tell your friends about the show. Jake, thanks for coming over. Love you, buddy.
I love you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.